So after the first session, are there any questions left or any comments from you? Okay, then we'll move on. We did this interview at the end of the first part in theory, what needs a good defense player, athletics, technical skills, aspects, mentality, anticipation, and this is closely connected to tactical knowledge. Which options does the offense player have? Which options do I have in return? And am I able to put all the different actions one after the other very quickly, which was seen in the last practical exercise where they had to get outside, attack the player, and therefore they need the technical skills. And this is really important, what I want to tell every coach, that a player, you said rightly, in a right way, that they have to take quick decisions. And in the match, in the competition, players always have to take the decision first. And decision means they have to do a tactical decision. But what is important, you can only realize your tactical choice if you have the technical abilities. Yeah? It's like in offense, if you see a defender standing like this and you see, what do I have to do? A tactical decision, I have to do this shot. You can only do it if you have the technical abilities. Otherwise, it's no option for you. And it's the same with defense play. If you want to open space or create space for the offense player to this direction, you need to have the technical skills to defend those offense actions. Yeah? So it belongs together. Individual defense. This is something I have been thinking and working on the last weeks and months. I tried to give it somehow a structure which can be seen here. The first phase in individual defense is the ball is on the way from a different sector to my sector. That's the first phase before you start individual defense, or the first phase in individual defense. The second phase is the ball is in my sector. Yeah? Either it's man-man defense or it's in my sector where I have to take communication with my neighbor. And the third situation is the ball goes from my sector to another one. So, and below that, I say it depends on if there is a pivot player or if there's no pivot player. And this is the same in all the three phases. This is the same in all the three phases. If the ball is on the way in my sector, it depends if is there a pivot player which I have to defend, or if there's no pivot player. And now make a guess. When we talk about training or developing individual defense abilities, in which sectors of those six do we mostly act in our sessions? What do you think? With a pivot, yes. And according to those three categories? Yes. I say that's 90% of training individual defense abilities. And that's why I say if we put more tactical knowledge about this phase and this phase, we help the players to develop, to anticipate what is going to happen next, and then they can win 90% of those actions more often, and then we develop defense players. I brought some examples for those actions. Ball is in my sector. Here we have those duels. In the teams we are coaching, and you will also detect this tomorrow in our national team, we have the rule all one-on-one situations which go to the non-throwing arm side have to be won by the defender. Yeah? Throwing arm side, in this direction they can lose, but everything that goes in this direction, they have to win. This is in under 16 and also in the team of Christian Prokop tomorrow. Like here. They have to win those situations. No other opportunity. This is our under 16 team. Here you see the next situation. They have to win those situations against the non-throwing arm side. I do not know the proper word in English, but that's a rule. Again. Okay, so this as an example for the category ball is in my sector, where we have 90% of all the training, but we have to develop that anticipation for what can I do if the ball is on my way, and this is what we did in this pentagon there. They had to think about the ball is on my way, I go outside, I stop him, I play against the pivot and so on. So there's a lot to develop. And anticipation, this is where I provided 4 strategies of anticipation and defense play, what we did so far, and what we want to develop in the next practical session and also in tomorrow's session. The first strategy is reducing space of your opponent players. Yeah? If you want to reduce space, you try that your opponent cannot receive the ball in forward movement. If you're showing yourself and reduce the space he has, he cannot come with too much pace, or he cannot catch the ball, receive the ball in forward movement. The other one is pressing attackers to the center, or avoid for some seconds that they can receive the ball. This was in the 3 against 4 situation, where we have to teach them what possibilities do you have. Second strategy is provoking mistakes by provoking long passes or provoking technical mistakes, like ball touching the ground or the foot, or other mistakes. Disturb the team play by blocking good pass options or passing ways. And so the team play cannot continue. Like if you try to get the pivot for a pivot crossing, the half defender goes outside and blocks this pass where the pivot always tries to get the ball to. Fourth strategy, disturb the game rhythm so that dynamic passes should be interrupted. Also, this was something we tried to develop in those in the 3 against 4 situation. No passing speed. Disturb the rhythm of the game, because we said at the beginning of our first theory section, we are in minority on the weak side, and therefore the ball cannot go there in a quick way. So all in all, it's about disturbing the attacker or lead them into free play. That they have to decide very quickly and not with too much time, too many options. Disturb the attacker in deciding and in his actions. So, and here I brought, and I hope this is of interest to you, this is our final of the under 18, under 19 category, which took place just 5 days ago. It's Rhein-Neckar-Löwen gegen Flensburg. And here you can see many, many things which are all also present in their first Bundesliga teams. And here it's the strategy reducing pace. Here you see the defender who is reducing pace of him by going outside, disturbing the pace, feinting, and afterwards again winning the one-on-one situation against the non-throwing arm side. Yeah? Reducing pace, and he cannot come in that quick forward movement. Here we have the strategy provoking mistakes. It's the Rhein-Neckar-Löwen in defense. Yeah, by offering him the space there, he goes for an offensive foul because he anticipates that's the only way he can go. And therefore, you can also provoke the mistake in an offensive foul. So these are all examples, from my opinion, for the strategies of anticipation. Here it's disturbing team play by blocking this pass, anticipating this pass. Was really a good match. It was really, really good. I can only recommend, if you're interested in it, I would provide you with a match and you can share it. And here we have a situation or an example for disturbing the game rhythm, making it slow. It's the defender here. So 4 strategies of anticipation. Now I brought you some examples how this looks like in our under 16 team, so that you are able to detect, how do you say in English? We say a line, a certain line from under 16 to under 20. So this is our youngest team, and there we have a rule: if the ball is in the corner, we only reduce the space so that they cannot go back to the center of the field where there is much space. And this you can see in the following clip. Here it's not well done by the half defender. It's a bad example, but you can see good examples following. So the ball is in the corner, and now he should make more pressure so that the ball cannot go back to the center. But you will see in this situation. This player is from SC Magdeburg, and he is reacting and leading the space, disturbing the space, providing the space for the attackers. This is a player from Leipzig, and this is provoking a mistake. And from my point of view, these are good defense players, because they need to play only little one-on-one situations, because they avoid them by good ideas. Okay. Last part of theory, let's have a look on specific positions in defense and their profiles. The wing defender, the defender on the half positions, number 2 or number 5. The defender, how do you say? The forward defender, and the center defenders. The wing defender, here, we said they have to solve minority situations, those 1-on-2 situations on the weak side. They have to disturb pace of passes and the pace of rhythm. They need to have a good quality in fast break, and they need to anticipate the passes. Here we have the cooperation of wing defender and the defender on the half position. You saw the same principle. The wing defender goes for the pass and the half defender behind him. So he helped him to solve the 1-on-2 situation. And what you can see here, that is why I think this scene is if he had been clever, he also would have followed the second rule, don't let him get out of the corner. They did number one, cooperating, but then they were able to go out of the corner, and we didn't let them stay in the corner. This last one, and here he decided correctly. And the next defender. Okay. Defender on the half positions on 2 and 5. This is what we did down there. Offensive situations and 1-on-1. Solving blocks of the pivot player in different situations. We have not done this down there, but Christopher made a good remark in the exercise where the defense player led the attack player by touching the cones here or there. Christopher made the Vorschlag? The suggestion, right. That if the attack player is not able to pass the ball to the pivot player, that he only makes a feint and the pivot player supports him by giving a block in an offense situation and he goes back. This could have been the next situation that follows this exercise. I think that's a good idea. Defensive defending close to the goal line, like blocking shots or read passes. Good communication, good anticipation. And this is what we play with a half defender. It's also an element which you find in the Barca defense, that the defenders on position 2 and 5 put pressure on the center back. Here, provoking a mistake. And here you saw the half defender pressing against center back. But we have some better situations for that. Like here. Yeah? Where we also reduce the space for the offense. Here again. And then they have to go into a space where they do not want to go. And it's free play. And if they are under pressure and attack, they do not know what to do. They are under pressure, and these are the steals every defense likes to have. Again, and this is what I call collective intelligence. If every player is thinking about what is going to happen next. Okay. Last situation. And here we have the cooperation again, wing defender and half defender. And the offensive foul. Okay, so we already talked about this, what you can do to disturb this crossing with the pivot. Ah, yeah. And here we try to block this pass. Not really good done in this situation, but it's under 16. It's what we try to develop. And this you already know. You don't lose one-on-one situations against the non-throwing arm side. And last situation. Okay, then the position forward defender, what does he need? His job is to reduce the pace of passes. He also needs a quality in fast break, anticipating passing ways, solving blocks in different ways, solving crosses. This is what we are going to do in the next practical session, because if you have good individual requirements and abilities, then you need to put them into good cooperations, and then we can play a collective tactic like Christopher is doing tomorrow, and anticipation. So, and then the center defender. We need that ball orientation. I think that's very important if we talk about technical skills. Solving blocks, solving crosses, defensive defending close to the goal line, offensive situations, communication and anticipation. These are the really the whole bunch of all the necessities. And here I have cooperation against crosses. Like here, this is what Spanish or Portuguese philosophy is, defending crosses by not switching, but playing man against man. If the crossing is not dangerous. Here again. So the cooperation against crosses, where the center defenders are involved. And I think this is something really modern at the moment. If you see the situations from the World Championships 2019, how you avoid crosses, especially by the Spanish team. In the match against Iceland, when they tried to cross for Palmason, they took him away. Here again. And then he is under pressure, and good players have the technical skills on this level to solve those situations as well. but you see how many mistakes they provoke just by this little cooperation in defense. And there are the Spanish teams with Jordi Ribera, and his ideas are really worth looking at and watching. So, avoiding crosses. And then if everyone works together, there is something I call collective intelligence. Where everything comes together, all the specific profiles. You already saw this situation. And here it's important, I think, to say it's not about if he does a wrong pass afterwards, but the situation where he wins the ball without doing a foul. Yeah, creating the space, knowing where he's going to pass, getting the ball to the pivot and winning the ball, being able to go into fast break. This is what I think we have to develop players to. And this is honestly spoken a hard job. This is honestly spoken a hard job. But it's our job not only to think about what is important now, but if we are working with all those players, with the players under 16, we also have to think about how is handball going to develop and how will championships be decided in 2024 in the Olympics in Paris. And I think we also have to convince our trainers, our system in Germany as well, to think about how will handball be played in the future. And I think there will be less fouls, or at least more suspensions, and we have to teach them how to win balls, how to create situations where we force the attack into free play or into provoking mistakes. This is what I said. It's not enough to just want it or to have the will. That's the basis. That's absolutely necessary, but it has to be something more. And the last thing I wanted to show you, because it's somehow the step towards what Christopher is going to do tomorrow, the flexibility in systems. I think many of us tend to think too much in systems, like is it better to play 5-1 or 6-0? I think it makes a difference, but the flexibility of systems will be something that decides championships, and we have to make them adapt to and being flexible more quickly. And I think one of the teams being that flexible is Iceland, which changed their defense from 6-0 to a 3-3 defense or a 4-2 defense in the World Championships, depending on whether they had a transition from the wings or a crossing in from the backcourt players. And those situations can be seen here. And as I said, it's somehow what Christopher is going to work on tomorrow. So here the crossing in the backcourt, 3-3. And you see the same things which we try to develop with the players here. Transition from the wing, 4-2 defense. And then they have to cooperate in 2 against 2. Push him, attack him, try to provoke the mistake. make him not able to pass, reduce the pace, reduce decision time for him. And Iceland has quite a lot of players under 20 already having taken part in January. And here the space for Anason was too big to play that one-on-one, or he was not quick enough on his feet. Here taking away the cross again. And I think what is important, and Christopher will go on with that tomorrow, the flexibility in systems can only be realized if those young players are able to play one-on-one and 2 against 2 in different situations. Like if they are cooperating in a cross with switches, where, do you say switch? Yeah. And in situations where you decide, I'm going to play one-on-one and he's going to stay with a pivot, and then I have to go with him and have to follow him into the next space, like we did in this pentagon exercise as well. But in order to be flexible, they have to know both. And they have to be flexible in small situations, in one-on-one and 2-on-2. And it's, I tend to say always the same, but if we had been successful in that so far, we wouldn't have to deal with that all the time again and again. And it's a competition between coaches and the players who is going to develop his or her players quickly and with little time only. So and I think they need to have those tactical knowledge. They have to know what else can I do instead of only looking for who's the stronger one, looking only for those 90% in the sector if we are playing with ball in my sector. But if we can develop and make progresses in the other 2 sectors as well, to know where the ball is going to and so on. Yeah, and in the second practical session we're starting, I suggest in 9 minutes so that we don't have a too long break and that we have 60 minutes with the players. I want to work on the situation crossing without the ball in the backcourt players. For number 3 defender, first is only blocking in a defensive way. Second option, he tries to block and gets into contact with a player shooting. And then he is going to reduce the pace in order to create a one-on-one. And if he knows he's going one-on-one, he can maybe provoke an offensive foul. And if he gets them to play to the throwing arm side, what do we know? What will be the cooperation among the offense players? Probably a crossing. And then we're going to develop in cooperation in defense players how to defend crosses by switching and by avoiding that cross to take it away and to anticipate. The offense is going to trying to play a cross, and I'm taking it away by playing one-on-one. So this is what we're going to do now before we are going to see the 6 against 6 situations in 6-0 tomorrow. Okay, afterwards we are going to have still some minutes to discuss, but just at this moment, thanks for your attention on this afternoon. I hope you can take away some information or some structure for your work, because this is why we are here, to get into exchange with our and your ideas. And yeah, thanks for the first part, and after the practical session we're going to have a short discussion.